I'm Sonja Quirk, I'm Chair of Friends of Victoria Hall. This year is our 5th Heritage Open Days event. As part of Heritage Open Days this year, we were hoping to be able to share news about a major refurbishment, but that's looking more and more unlikely because of funding with the old government and the new government, but that's politics. So we think the Friends of Victoria Hall are going back to the phased approach, which is where we started in 2019. And the phased approach will be looking at each floor individually. At the moment, the ground floor is used for community use. We have multiple users, including Glossop Arts Project, Dark Peak Music Foundation, Glossop Ukelele Group, and of course the Friends Group, who run several different groups during the month. We have bingo, we have socials, we have IT awareness with PCrefurb, we have a gardening group once a month, and we're looking at introducing a wellbeing group as well. So every Tuesday of the month we have something on here. And a Tuesday morning, the Friends of Victoria Hall always meet to do our admin and to make sure that all the repairs are done and the invoices are sent out and various bits and pieces. So the ground floor is well used at the moment, but it needs improvement. At the moment, there's a maximum capacity of 60 people on the ground floor. So we want to improve that, which due to fire regs, includes work on doors and fire escapes and the fire alarm system itself. We also need to improve the accessibility. At the moment, we don't have an accessible toilet. So the idea is to raise money for an accessible toilet, and we would love to have a changing place in Victoria Hall. That's on our wish list to have that. So the use for the ground floor is multi-purpose community use. So as well as a cafe area, we have 3 separate areas downstairs on the ground floor. The main room outside is used by various community groups, as I've mentioned. In here, we have used this as a tea room, so we would like equipment to use this as a cafe bar with a nice coffee machine, fridges that we can keep cold beers, and we would like to have this as a vintage tea room, so an eclectic mix of bone china, and we do this sometimes with the bingo events that we have. We have afternoon teas. We'd love to do this on a regular basis as well. And in what was the children's area of the library, we would like to have a multi-use hot desking area that people can hire out for meetings, and we also have started a small lending library. Historically, Victoria Hall has a covenant on the building for the use of the community as a public hall and a public library. Since Derbyshire County Council moved the library over to a new purpose-built library, we don't quite fulfil the covenant. It's more of a public hall now, but we would like to have a small lending library, like I say, that has books on heritage, music, arts, gardening, and also children's books. So the events that we run, there's always something that the children can do. And on a Tuesday, when we have the various social groups and maybe coffee mornings, people can come in and borrow the books. And we would also like to have a lending library of useful items, useful equipment, things that you may only use once or twice a year, so you don't really want to buy it, so you want to borrow it. Lawn mowers, a drill, tools, and various other electrical equipment pieces that, like I say, we can keep and we can lend out. So that would kind of, that would fulfill the covenant, but the hall is mainly used as a public hall for and by the community and the folk of Glossop. So we want to utilise all 3 floors as much as possible. We have 3 fantastic floors. Our first floor is a bit sorry for itself at the moment. In the past it has been used for Glossop Operatic and Dramatic Society. A lot of people will be aware of Gods and the plays that they used to have upstairs. It was used for ballroom dancing, which on previous open days we've been asked about, and we would love to bring that back. It's got a sprung floor up there. It would be amazing to have Glossop Does Strictly upstairs. And the capacity with all the fire precautions upstairs is 250 people. So that would make it the biggest venue in Glossop for live music. And then we have a cellar as well, which is mainly just used for storage at the moment. Our plans for that would be to bring back a youth club, to have potentially a recording studio down there, meeting rooms, various groups. It used to have pottery classes down there. We would be able to utilise that room to rent out those spaces to artists, to various community groups. So basically we need to have all 3 floors working independently from each other. So we'd need access to each floors. We would need accessible facilities on each floor, and the plan is all 3 floors would come into use. But to be able to do that, we need a lot of money. So we're looking at the next, 5 to 10 years to bring all 3 floors back into use. That is dependent on funding. So that is then dependent on the funding available to us. We've been working very closely with High Peak Borough Council since 2019 to look at various funding pots. We've been very close to receiving quite a few funding pots in the past, but unfortunately that hasn't worked out. So we're looking at, with High Peak, funding this ourselves. And there are various pots of money out there, Heritage Lottery funding, Arts Council funding, but we would need support to do that. The Friends of Victoria Hall have applied to become a charitable organisation. At the moment we have several trustees, but we would be looking to appoint trustees with experience in finance and fundraising, and any trustees out there with any sort of legal experience would be absolutely fantastic. With the ground floor, we would love to have a cafe bar area. We'd love to have coffee mornings on a Saturday, and all the money that we raised within these events that we do just all goes back into the refurb and the continuing use of the hall. And we have asked the folk of Glossop for their opinions, their connections, their reminiscence of the hall and for the hall, and we're asking for that again, because we need to do the phased approach now. We would like to know which floor would be utilised most. So do we do the ground floor up first? Do we utilise the upstairs? Or do we do the cellar first? We need to be able to have a robust plan now going forward. And for that we need help. We need help with the fundraising. We need volunteers to enable the fundraising events to happen. We need trustees. We need experts in sound, in restoration. We are a Grade 2 listed building, so we would welcome any support with that kind of area.